Let's take a look at our author, Publius Vergilius Maro, also known as Vergil. Vergil was born in Mantua, Italy, around October 15th at 70 BC. It's important to note that he was not actually a Roman. He wasn't born in the Roman city, but he was Italian, one of the further outskirts of Italy. Vergil, he was extremely well educated. In Cremona, Milan, Rome, it was traditional for the individual to travel to many different locations to receive their education, sort of like how we go away to college today, except they would do this throughout many different levels of their education. He studied many different forms, including poetry, rhetoric, law, oratory, and philosophy, and all these have an impact on his work. The most important thing you need to take about Vergil is that during the civil wars, the wars between Caesar and Brutus and Cassius and all of those wars that we had, but mainly the one between Caesar and Pompey, Vergil and his father lost their property to the military. The military said, hey, we need your farm for a camp. Sorry, you have to move. And this loss of his homeland, this loss of his identity, is something that we're going to constantly see throughout the Aeneid. Aeneas is a Trojan soldier who loses his homeland because of a war, just like Vergil lost his homeland because of a war. Dido herself is a refugee. She fled from her homeland because of a war waged by her brother for ownership of the land. So this loss of your humanity, of your identity, your culture, being taken away from you. We're going to see this throughout the Aeneid. We're also going to see this in Caesar when we get to his works, but it's more going to be a taking of the Germanic and the Celtic and the Gallic pride. Vergil had other works aside from the Aeneid. His first work were called the Eclogues, which were about pastoral themes, farming. And this helped him gain the notice of a wealthy patron of literature. His name was Mycanus, and he introduced him to Octavian, also known as Augustus. And Mycanus was very fond of finding new authors, and he would actually pay them to work. Here's money to live off of. Why don't you write this work for me? And he would do this with other authors, including Horace. And we refer to this circle as the Mycenaean circle of all these authors that he helped fund while they were working on works to help restore the Republic. His greatest, most finished work was the Gorgics, which again was about farming. Vergil befriends Augustus, who eventually commissions him to write the Aeneid. The Aeneid is supposed to be propaganda for Augustus. Aeneas is supposed to be Augustus, and we're going to talk about that as we go through this year. At one point, he reads a portion to Octavia because it reminds her of her dead son, Marcellus. And Octavia believes that it is so real, so true. She thinks it's her son in the story that she faints. Vergil traveled a lot, and when he was coming back from Greece at one point, he became ill. And he actually met up with Augustus at this point on his way home from Greece. As soon as he returns to Italy in Brundisium, he dies. On his deathbed, since he was traveling with Augustus, he begged Augustus, please, burn my Aeneid. Why? Because he didn't feel that it was complete, and we're going to see why as we go through the year. Augustus, of course, because this was a work about himself, he decided, nope, not going to burn it, let's publish it, and let the world know about how great Rome is and about how great I am also.